Hey guys, I'm going to show you a short tutorial on how to use the basic controls of FL Studio 12 and how to make a simple beat. So here I've opened up a new file with nothing in it. So right here, this big open area, this is called the view playlist. This is where you store different patterns and types of audio clips. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a pattern. So right here in the top, you can see my mouse circling it. It says pattern 1. That's the pattern I'm currently working on. So since I don't have any patterns made, this is the default one that it makes. So I left click to place pattern 1, and now we have a pattern. So this drop down menu shows the different types of functions. So right now this is the first one, the view playlist. So next we want to go and put a sound in this pattern. So to do that, we double click, or we can click here in the channel rack. So if I click on the channel rack, it'll take me to this area here where you can add different types of sounds. So there's two different types of sounds. You can have a synth or an audio clip. A synth is, I'll show you an example. Here's a synth where you have like a bunch of knobs and stuff that you can turn and make your own sound. So I can make a note here. I can add different types of things to make it sound different. For now, we'll only be using audio clips or sounds just to make it a little easier. So what I want to do is make a simple beat here. So what I can do is import sounds. So if you look here on the left side, you'll have this huge drop down menu with a bunch of different functions. The most important thing here, in my opinion, is packs. So if you click on packs, it'll have a big menu and have more different kinds of folders. And from here, there's a big library of different sounds and synths you can use. So I'm going to this pack called drums. This is built into FL Studio, so everyone will have it. I want to get a kick drum. So I click under kits or kicks, and there's a bunch of different kicks that pop up. So to preview the sound, you can left click and you'll be able to hear it. So I'll choose a random kick. And I drag it, when you want to drag it in and use it, hold left click and drag it here. So I got that down. So now I just want to get some other ones. So I want to get a snare. And drag it right here, right in between an actual thing I already dragged in and the plus symbol. Put it right here and it makes a new one. And now I'll get a hi-hat. Same thing right there. So now I have some instruments to work with. So now I want to actually make a physical beat. So an easy way to do it is in the channel rack right here. This little area here with a bunch of like widgets, I don't know what you would call them, but that's what I call them. If you left click, you can make a note. So I'm going to click every beat for a kick. And if I click this refresh looking button here right next to the play button, it'll replay my pattern over again. So I'll start playing it. So right now it's just a kick drum playing over and over again. So if I want to make a simple beat, I can start playing around and putting some stuff everywhere. And I'll see how that sounds. So there, that's how you make a simple beat. So I'll go over some controls now real quick. So to scroll in and out, you hold down control and use your scroll button to scroll in. So if I scroll up, it scrolls in. If I scroll down, it scrolls out. So this is really useful when you're going through big files, big patterns. This is probably the most used function I have. And to go up and down, is just scroll up and down. So if I go back to the channel rack really quick, so you see these different things I made, these little things I clicked. So what this does is it makes a note in the piano roll. So to go to the piano roll, I can go to this up here, the drop down menu again. The third thing from the left is the piano roll. So here you can actually see the notes you've placed down in the piano roll. So right now I have one pattern. This pattern consists of 3 different sounds. So each sound has its own piano roll. So for example, I'll right click the kick, and I can go to the piano roll, and this is the piano roll for just the kick. Same thing, I go back to the channel rack, I can do the same thing for snare, go to piano roll, and it's a different pattern. And then the same thing for the last one, the hi-hat, I can go and it's another pattern. So you can have multiple different types of, I want to say, sequences or things inside of a pattern, and you can make up like a pattern with those. So this is really useful when you're making very simple beats because it's a lot easier to look at and see in a layout. So now what I want to do, once I've finished making my beat, I want to split this up into multiple channels now so I can view it in the view playlist a lot easier. Because right now, if you look at the view playlist, it's not very clear what this is. So what I can do is I can left click this. Oh no, sorry. I go up to here to pattern 1. I right click it and it'll take you to a drop down menu. And you go down all the way to the very bottom and click split by channel. So what this does is it splits every pattern up into 3 different channels. So I had a kick, snare, and hi-hat. Now those are 3 different patterns, so they're all stacked on top. So to move these, I hold left click, drag down, and hold left click, drag down, and now I have 3 different patterns. So to play all these at once, I'll unclick this refresh looking button, so it'll play the whole playlist at once. And it just loops over and over again. So those are most of the basics. So I'll go over a couple of other ones really quick too. So if I go into the piano roll, right now I'm looking at the kick piano roll, so for the kick drum. So you can tell it's the kick from the very top here where it says 808 kick. That's the name of the pattern, and that's where I use the kick drum. So I'll go into the piano roll for this. What I can do is change the volume. So if you look at this menu down here, there's these bars that show the volume. So right now it's like 75% volume. What I can do to lower the volume is I can left click and drag it up and down. So I can change the volume. So let's say I want to listen to this pattern alone real quick. Let's say I want my last kick to be super loud for some reason. So you can hear there's a pretty big difference there. So that's one important feature. Another feature is, say I had an actual sound, like not a kick drum. Like let's say I had a piano and I wanted to change the pitch of the piano. So if I wanted to change the pitch of all the notes, it would be very inefficient for me to just drag the notes all the way up. An easy way to do that is to hold Control and drag with your holding left click. And you can select everything, and you can copy paste and move it all at once. You can copy paste and do like anything you want basically. So that's a very helpful feature for when you're actually making notes. For when you're making drums, it's not exactly too important. So I think those are mostly the main features of FL Studio 12. So thank you guys for watching.